This has just been a cringeworthy week of male Republican figures who think they know women. So I'm titling this segment, We Know Women. I'm not sure if you remember Mr. Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who was giving a commencement speech and basically told a bunch of graduating men and women, sort of more painfully, that maybe they shouldn't get a career. Maybe they should just become homemakers because, like, that's really what all women want. Here he is this week, a year later, really, getting a chance to clarify while he is stumping for Senator Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley's face says it all. Take a listen.
So it's not putting down anyone who maybe wants to go get a great education and have a career, but it's more talking about how beautiful it is for women to maybe just step aside and prioritize their family and spend time with their children and raise their family. And that's what I was just trying to speak love.
Step aside. Move, bitch. Get out the way. I believe Ludacris said, just step aside. Look, no disrespect. Get the fuck out of my way. Just step aside. Go, you know, your hopes, your dreams, your career. Go take care of the kids. I'm sure they're hungry. Go make something nice, okay? Why you going in the kitchen, make something nice? Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, so much of that is just predicated on men being nice to women, first and foremost.
Meaning, like, all you got to do is just be nice to them?
Well, it's like, you know, if you want to be a homemaker, it's like, then you're relying on a man to be nice to you, which
Right.
I wouldn't recommend.
I like that you break it down like that. Like, yeah, exactly. Banking your whole future, your livelihood on a man being nice to you. That's a lot. That's a huge swing.
Why do you think men don't do it?
Absolutely. 100%. Men would never trust one. Are you kidding me? So that was Butker clarifying, and Josh Hawley's just like, oh God. He's smiling at the camera. You know, maybe just step aside. Oh, Jesus Christ. Speaking of stepping aside, women have been deliberately pushed aside by our Supreme Court when it comes to our own abortion rights. And here is JD Vance lying through his teeth, but being fact-checked by the New York Times about his own stance on abortion. And here he is trying to walk away from the idea of an abortion ban, but he knows women.
You said in a podcast, I'm just going to quote here, that you'd like abortion to be illegal nationally. That was on the podcast Very Fine People in 2022. And you've discussed the fact that people might be able to get abortions in other states. And you said you would need some federal response to prevent that from happening. I'm pretty sympathetic to that, actually.
Well, what Trump has said and what we said on this campaign is states are going to make these choices. Now, yes, I said in a podcast, I mean, I don't have the podcast in front of me, but I'm sure that I said what you said I said. But that's just reflective of my view.
Well, that's just my view. I mean, hey, look, I'm leaving it up to the states, though. Leave it up to the states. However, if you try to go to a state that has abortion laws, you will be fined. You will be prevented. Our street militias will stop you and give you a sonogram, on the spot. So, but I'm for freedom and like states' rights. I'm sure I said what you said. This is amazing, David. This is almost worse than him trying to walk away from or trying to deny like the 2020 election. Like him walking away from his former stance is like on his podcast, Very Fine People, where he said that women should be second-class citizens. Like, it's just incredible.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody can, like, I think, you know, even right wingers have to look at him and be like, you're an empty vessel.
Right.
It's like you're just gonna regurgitate. But I don't know if that makes him more or less dangerous. Because, like, you know, Trump is 78, I think. So, you know, there's a good chance if he becomes president again, he might not make it through his second term. especially if people keep trying to take him out. But
I
yeah,
really I think that you know what's interesting about JD Vance? Here's like a ray of hope I'm gonna just float. Obviously, if Trump wins the election, we're fucked. And you're right that, you know, him being number 2 guy is very scary. But here I'm very curious about how JD Vance will behave if they lose. Because how he behaves if they lose is like, I'm sure he doesn't even know because his entire political future rests on that. If he participates in months of denialism and weird Rudy Giuliani or Steve Bannon staged photo ops or press conferences, like he's gonna look like a fucking psycho and a lunatic. And right now he looks like just, you know, a Yale speaking out at your both sides of your face, you know, boy. But whether or not he would ever have to throw Trump under the bus, should they lose and Trump says they win, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is, this is both the best thing that has happened to him politically and the worst thing that ever happened in he was already a senator.
yeah.
You know, he could have been okay. But like, if they don't win this, I'm very curious what happens to JD Vance.
Probably just starts a podcast.
I mean, it could be nothing. It could be like, well, denialism is the rage, and he won't look silly, and Republicans will love it, and there'll be a January 6x2 or January 10th, and it'll be great. Like who knows? It might not be politically toxic, but it is interesting that, like, yeah, anyway. Whatever. Enough about Vance. My final clip for you about we knowing women is Stephen Miller, obviously, the guy who's been in a blanket fort since 2020, planning his return to the White House and how to deport immigrants en masse. He was on Jesse Waters' show, and I don't know why Jesse Waters is introducing him as like some sort of playboy, but take a look.
We just have to address the elephant in the room. We're getting a lot of texts from women about Miller and his appearances and his appearance. Our audience at primetime believes you're some sort of sexual matador. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, let me give advice to any young man that's out there. I'm married now, I have children, but I wasn't married that long ago. I was single, I was in the market. If you're a young man, it's very important in election season, who's looking to impress ladies, to be the alpha, to be attractive. The best thing you can do is to wear your Trump support on your sleeve. Show that you are a real man. Show that you are not a beta, right? Be a proud and loud Trump supporter, and your dating life will be fantastic.
I cannot wait to see the text tonight.
What? He's a sexual, like, what did he say?
Matador?
Matador? The fuck? You know, you just kill them. You kill the bull. You kill the ladies. You know, until they're dead, and then you marry them. Yeah, nothing creepy about that at all. So I didn't know that. I first of all, I love that this probably started because some like retired Fox News viewer wrote in and was like, Stephen Miller's got a very nice suit on. He's looking quite handsome today. You know, like, and like Jesse Waters is like, well, the ladies say, and it's like, dude, young women are scared shitless of MAGA men. Apparently only 35% of women said they would ever date someone from another party, the opposite party. And like, we know, like, young women, the political gulf between young men and young women specifically now is huge. But I don't know, David, do you think that if you were a Trump voter, you would wear your MAGA on your sleeve and get hella pussy?
Well, like, you know, just to play up on the idea of toxic masculinity in being an alpha male, it's like, what kind of alpha male needs another man to make him look more like a man?
Like Donald Trump, like, I got a bunch of Donald Trump flair. I got a Donald Trump tie and a Donald Trump underwear. I'm alpha. Like, you're pretty much a beta. Like, you said it. Like, why don't you have a tie or underwear of yourself? If you were a real alpha, that would be you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big sports fan, and I've worn many jerseys and hats sporting my team, and it's not worked well with me for me in the past. So I don't know. And I think there are more 49er fans than there are Trump fans. So
What do you mean? You're like, man, I thought I was gonna wear my shirt, my slick 49ers jacket, and they
yeah.
lost. Sometimes you got to be a stealth fan. I'm sure there's a lot of MAGA people who are like, if I get the hat, he's gonna lose, but if I
I
just
mean,
am a stealth fan, he's gonna win.
I live in the Bay, so there for sure are a lot of stealth MAGA fans out here.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.